Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. I always appreciate that. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the old school tail spinner. This is probably something a lot of you guys have never used or seen before. This is a fish catching bait, and it has been for over 50 years, and it still works just as good today. But I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice on when to use it, because when you get the right set of situations, which is usually anywhere between like October and first part of April, the old tail spinner, man, it can put them in the boat. So we're going to go over that in today's video. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, I wanted to show you as far as jig fishing goes. If you guys are interested in some good wintertime fishing jigs, Tackle Warehouse just got a shipment of 1,000 of my Blaukat throwback jigs in. So if you guys are interested, you can pick some up there at Tackle Warehouse at the link I put in this description. And we've been talking about this, guys. This is my favorite wintertime jig setup. It's a half-ounce solid brown Blaukat throwback jig with a green pumpkin zoom super chunk junior on it. I got it cut down. Let's cut the skirt down. You can get some bites in this wintertime on this particular color. They love brown and green in the winter, so I'll put that link in the description if you guys want to check that out. Okay, guys, here it is, man. This is a Little George. This bait right here is probably well over 40 years old. I got a bunch of Little Georges that I used to fish all the time. Little George is just a simple bait. It's just a chunk of lead that looks sort of like a bait fish. It's got a spinner on the back of it, super heavy, and it's designed to be fished vertical or even casting and pumped off the bottom. So what you do is you throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, you pump it off the bottom, the blade spins as it goes back down. And guys, there has been a ton of giant bags of fish caught on this. This thing was catching, 7-pounders like down at Lake Eufaula in Alabama back in the 70s all the time. Tom and Little George, one of the most famous lures of all time. And guys, I'll link the tail spinner link and my Tackle Warehouse link in the description, because they have a lot of really newer, high-tech of the baits like the Little George there, the tail spinners, if you guys like to check those out. But let's talk a little bit about where you want to fish it and how you want to fish it. Now, this is not necessarily just a wintertime bait, because there's a lot of fish that get caught in the fall time of the year as well. This is a bait when the fish go deep that you want to use. So most of the time you're talking about having to have a lake that's got 3 foot of visibility or so, and you're going to be targeting sort of that 20 to 50 foot zone with the Little George. It's the same type of bite that you would fish a blade bait in, or a spoon, or something similar with a vertical presentation. So with the Little George, there's several different situations, guys, that I've been really good on this thing. The first one is if you got submerged timber in a lake. Submerged timber is a great structure to fish the Little George around. I'll just get in the creek channels where the submerged timber is and just pitch that Little George out in the timber, let it go to the bottom, pump it off the bottom 2 or 3 times. If I don't get one, I'll reel it in, make another pitch. Fishing it out off main lake and secondary points on deeper point ends, like where the drop off of the point is really good. And also if you have submerged road beds. You don't hear much about people fishing submerged road beds anymore, guys, but road beds are very common on any type of topographical map. And I've caught a bunch of good fish on road beds on Little George in the wintertime as well. So it's sort of like when you're fishing deep in the wintertime and you're fishing vertical, like with a Demiki rig, a drop shot, a spoon, blade bait, or a tail spinner like this, they all sort of go hand in hand as far as they will work in the same type of water. Now here's how you really determine when you want to use like a tail spinner over a spoon or anything like that. A tail spinner is going to work better, or it's going to outproduce those other deep water lures if the water has a little bit of off-colored stain to it. Now, I don't mean like dirty water stain, but here's the difference. It's like a spoon or a drop shot or a Demiki rig is going to work good if your water visibility is over like 4 foot. And the tail spinner is going to work better if your water visibility is under 4 foot, like that 3 to 4 foot zone, which is very common in a lot of lakes across the country. The flash of the tail spinner in that little bit more off-colored water is attractive to the fish, and also on your low light days. So like if you're fishing in the wintertime when it's cloudy and windy, a lot of times I'll go with a tail spinner simply, again, because of the flash of the tail on there. But it's just one of those sort of forgotten lures. You just don't hear about it much anymore, and it's worth having a few in your boat, man. If you do like to fish deep, and regardless what technique that you use fishing deep, it's just another bait to put in your arsenal, because Sometimes they prefer it over any other, spoon or, blade bait or anything like that. So again, guys, I'll link them in the description if you guys like to pick one up, and we'll check in later. See you.